All right.
He's a rolling. All right, 3, 2, 1. Black cherry is actually pretty good.
Black cherry?
Yeah, black cherry ghosts.
Black cherry
Or
ghost.
sour black cherry watermelon.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I like ghost.
They're coming out with some really good flavors.
I like the protein powders, the Chips Ahoy. I eat that. I just drink that.
I haven't tried their protein powders. I've only done the aminos.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I drink too many energy drinks, so yeah. So their pre-workouts don't work on me. Haven't tried the protein powders though.
Oh man,
I might try them.
Some of them are good.
Yeah.
My favorite's the Chips Ahoy.
Chips Ahoy. Okay.
So good.
So guys, we are back for the Motley Review podcast.
Motley Review, episode 4.
Is it episode 4 now? Yes, it is. It's episode 4.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about Bloodsport. Bloodsport.
We was talking about this a little bit in the last episode.
Mhm.
We had to refresh on it a little bit. But
Yes, we did.
I grew up watching this movie. Like, it was religious in the house in a way.
I grew up at a later date watching this
You
movie.
did. You were saying in the last one that this is a perfect 3 a.m. movie in a way.
It is a perfect 3 a.m. movie.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're going to go off of a little background, guys. All right, so Bloodsport is a 1988 American martial arts film directed by Newt Arnold. The film stars Jean Claude Van Damme and a supporting cast of Leah Ayres, Forrest Whitaker,
Mhm.
ding, 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 Donald Gibb, Roy, I'm so sorry, Shinayo, I can't say that name, I'm so sorry, Bolo Young. The film centers on Frank Dukes, a United States Army captain and Jiu-Jitsu practicer who competes in an underground full-contact martial arts tournament called the Kumite in Hong Kong. The film is based on Duke's real-life claims. Let's emphasize claims. The film was marketed as a true story. It's one of Van Damme's first leading roles, showcased his abilities, launching his career as a mainstream action star. It showcases martial arts skills, not his acting abilities. That's why we have this in our category of boom, 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 terribly awesome movies.
So we're going to do one of them every now and then.
Yeah, one every now and then. Yeah, I don't know what we'll do next, but we'll talk about that later. All right, so initial thoughts on watching it again.
Oh, man. I think the last time I watched this was a few years ago. I want to say like maybe 7, 8 years ago.
Last
And
time
it
I watched
was-
it was like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Well, I'm saying for me and you watching it.
Yeah.
I'm saying prior to.
Mm.
And it's one of the times that like it was on, so I wasn't really like watching. It was just in the room on, you know. So watching it from the very beginning, some super cheesy stuff I forgot. I think my favorite line was the kid when he gets beat up. I mean, this kid's like learned martial arts his whole life. When he gets beat up when they're kids, and he's like, one day I'm gonna make my dad proud by competing in the Kumite.
Yeah,
I was like so cheesy.
This whole movie is just littered with cheesy lines. Like, oh my,
Okay, USA.
I love that.
No, I love that too.
I love that, dude. That's so good. Let's see. The music. No. The budget was 1.5 to 2.3 million. The box office on it though was 50. So
It did really well.
It did really well.
I think that's why we all
man.
know about it today.
Oh yes.
It did. It's one of those
So
cinema killers. Crazy.
yeah. Okay, let's go to the cast. So yes, Jean Claude Van Damme as Frank Dukes.
Frank Dukes.
Frank Dukes. Put up
my
your,
boy Dukes.
like put up your Dukes.
Put up your Dukes.
I love that guy who is like the.
Probably my favorite character, the little manager dude.
Oh yeah, he was amazing. Donald Gibb as Ray Jackson. So I don't. Donald Gibb is one of those guys that he gets littered in films, and you remember him from being like in these little bit parts.
Yeah.
Like honestly, the last thing I really remember seeing him in was the second U.S. Marshals movie with Tommy Lee Jones.
I had to look him up, and then I realized
Okay.
the character where he's been at.
Yeah.
Because honestly, for me, when I saw him, it's like when I was watching it, I was like, I haven't seen him in anything. Maybe there was a one-hit thing, and maybe he just didn't do it anymore. No, he's been in a lot of stuff. Very a lot of stuff.
You just don't you just don't know about it, unfortunately.
He's a good actor.
He is a great actor, but
I like this character over anybody's. I would say that's my favorite character was his.
My favorite character in this movie. I don't know, but like I get a nice little smile just thinking about the Chinese like broker looking dude who's
it's
like, you feel good today, Dukes? Yeah, I feel good. Yeah, Dukes, Duke my man.
Yeah,
every single time, even. Oh, that's just a little thing on the phone. Okay. Even when like he's trying to pay off one of the judges, and then the guy shows up and he just takes the money right out of his jacket. Oh yeah, but in like every best possible way in a terrible movie.
Yeah. Now, Bolo was probably the Chinese Hercules.
Yeah.
My favorite villain growing up. This was at a time also when my older brother loved Star Wars, but I wasn't into Star Wars, so. When for me that was like one of the villains and the little peck thing. I learned to do that in middle school.
I can do the peck thing too.
Yeah.
See if I can do it right now.
Uh-oh.
Am I in frame?
Uh-oh.
No, I'm probably not in frame. It's okay.
But
I can do it though.
It was one of the things I was like, that is like a super, and we are next to a pretty busy road from time to time, guys. So I'm sorry you can hear some good old redneck trucks.
Yeah, you're going to hear some good old rednecking.
Yep.
Yep.
But for me, I was like, that is a super villain move. Like when you come in, you're already big and then you got to pop your packs. I was like, man. And when I was wrestling.
That's the original Henry Cavill, the popping, the load in the arms.
Yeah. Original.
Oh, man. I love it.
Bolo, man. That was like one of my favorite first villains ever.
Well, it's really weird now since like I've been into bodybuilding and working out all the time. Honestly, I do have his type of chest.
I could probably see that. Yeah. I mean, you ever hear his story?
No. What's his story?
Okay. Now don't quote me, but I remember years ago, an article came up and he swam to freedom because the place he was living in, and I have to look it up to make sure it's accurate, but I'm going to go with this story anyway. But it was like,
we'll have Brandon, our producer, fact check us.
He'll fact check us, and then we'll put in later on, this was fact checked or he's full of shit.
Or you guys can just shit talk us in the comments.
That's right. You can shit talk us in the comments. But it was talking about like Arnold and some of these other action stars, like if they escape freedom, like and stuff like that. And Bolo's name came up. He was one of these guys that they said that when it was in the town that he lived in China, that he wanted to escape communism, and the only way was to swim across this like lake. And this lake was, I mean, like you drown most of the time, but this dude, just the way his body was built, he was determined to swim to freedom. And it's just, I mean, that's kind of a little story kind of stuck with me for years. And I was like, in a bad situation, you want to get out of it, swim your way across that river, But interesting kind of character. I think that was his kind of breakout role as well.
I believe so, because
maybe in China he was a big deal.
I'm not going to lie to you. This is the only thing I know him from.
Really?
Really?
Well, I thought he was in Expendables. Was he not?
Was he in Expendables?
Oh.
I mean, not as like
one of producers looking.
Not one of the good guys. That was Jet Li.
Yeah. I thought he made it because he was friends with a lot of those 80s.
Oh, yeah. No, he totally was. I had no idea. But to continue going down our list, we just talked about Bolo Ying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was Chung Li. And he's always just doing this like, oh, I can't do it because I got a drink. But like, just doing it's just, oh my God.
Just his eyes too. Yeah. Like when he would just meet people with his eyes. I mean, he was
I break you.
You break my
I break your friend.
That's right.
Yeah. I just love that. Norman Burton as the CID agent Helmer. Now, again, this is the only thing I know this guy from. Same. Yeah. But to be honest, him and Forrest Whitaker literally had the best acting out of the whole film.
Like they were seasoned. It seemed like they was probably the only two seasoned actors from that group.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they definitely held that film together.
Oh yeah.
even with the comedy bits.
Oh yeah, throwing the food at the dog.
Yeah, and then like them chasing Jean Claude through the city. Yeah, that was it was so. Oh yeah, and the little like
the super big monstrous tasers,
the massive taser.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's like that is super movie prop because I don't think they had those.
Oh my god,
at that time.
Okay, so now I will go into. Let's go into the plot and talk about the plot as I read through it. So. He's been trained as a boy, impressed by ingenuity. So, actually, okay, you know what? Let's just go from the first bit of it. So, how they set up the film, showing all these different fighters doing their different styles of martial arts, and they get they either get the invitation then or they're talking to someone because they're already going.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
I liked it. I definitely think that was a good move early on for filmmakers because you start seeing the characters later on. Instead of wondering how they got there, you're introduced to them in the very beginning of and then it's also martial arts movies, so you're seeing each of their martial arts, and if you look back at it the second time, you go, okay, this is picking the best fighters in different styles throughout the world.
Exactly.
There's some of them you didn't see the. Did you notice one thing? And it just hit me. The tattoo. A lot of the guys had this eagle tattoo, and if you look at the tattoo, I think it was a prop because it was on the Chinese guy's chest. It was on the other Chinese guy's arm, but you'd see it even in the TIE fighter he had. It's the same tattoo.
I did not catch that.
I did. And I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the same tattoo. And I think it might have been like maybe one of the producers that was like an artwork maybe he made and he wanted to throw it in there. But yeah.
Well, we were going to go to hashtag send it to Brandon. We're going to do a Brandon check.
But how did you feel about it? The martial arts in the very beginning.
And also, this is also first, guys. Bryant caught a small, tiny detail that I did not catch. That's never happened on this show before. We're only 4 episodes deep. Oh, this is wild.
I have seen this movie religiously.
So this is your Armageddon. Okay.
This is my Armageddon.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, it's like when you see a movie the first time, the second time when you see it, your eyes kind of start seeing. This is like my 200th time watching this movie. So my eyes were going like, oh, hey, tattoo. Oh, it's ending up everywhere. So
I love it because you're going into it not knowing what's going on. All you know is it's a martial arts movie. If these people have seen the trailer, because in the 80s, I'm pretty sure no one went to see the trailer. They just went off the newspaper ad, probably. So just going into a great opening, because now you're getting to see all these different characters. Like, oh, okay, these are the types of people who will be fighting. You get to see a little snippet of their world. And then, but it's nice. So we get to see the world, the cast of characters that we're about to be playing with. And then you transition to our main guy who will be following, Van Damme, Frank Dukes. And you can tell that they shot this thing entirely in China or Taiwan or somewhere in Asia.
Yeah.
Because that military base he's on does not look like a military base at all. This looks like some random whatever they found and they dressed it up as best they could in China. And that commanding officer, oh my God, he is like the epitome of 80s action movie, like military commander. So over the top, and his lines are so disconnected. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, like even the whole premise of him. Yes, I'll be there. Okay, cool. But wait until I take a shower. Okay, sir.
And then he just waits. I still don't know how he got out of there, but I mean, that's just movie magic.
Through a window, I guess.
I
don't know. And then not even that. How does he get off the base?
Naked.
No, he had clothes on.
Oh, yeah, he did have clothes on. Saying, but
he was not naked in this film, people.
He was not. No, Jean Claude Van Damme was naked in this film. Well,
not yet. Was. Not yet. Not yet. Trust me. We get down his filmography. Oh, dude gets naked.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, he should have got more naked in this one than his other films because he had a better physique in this one. Yeah. But I digress. So.
How he got out of there, we don't know.
We have no idea. Movie magic. It was the 80s.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he gets off the base. Now, honestly, this is probably my favorite sequence is all the flashback stuff. Now, what's really cool is the father, the Shidoshi.
Shidoshi, yeah.
he is actually in the cold open of the second Indiana Jones movie.
Really?
He's the Chinese gangster guy.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
because he's
that.
also like very good in what he's doing.
He's a pretty good actor.
He's
pretty seasoned. Yeah.
He's very good actor. Like he's holding his frame. He's doing his shtick. And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved the entire sequence of like how it was set up. Like it's supposed to be his actual son, but you're going to be the training partner. Yeah. And Dukes is like, well, how am I supposed to be a training partner if I don't know anything? I'm just a glorified punching bag. You have to teach me.
Yeah.
And so they start learning and then they become brothers.
Yeah.
And then sadly, the son actually dies. And then he has to convince the father to actually train him and let him take on the legacy.
Yeah.
And you're getting to see him learn all these more advanced skills. And then it all comes in like at the same time, he doesn't really think he's going to do it. And then you see him in the stretched out moment. He's like, oh. And
then he's pulling.
Yeah. And honestly, with the, as like terrible cinematography the film has, it has a terrible, they had a terrible stock of silver because film is made of silver. It was terrible film stock because while you're watching this whole movie, you're just seeing black spots everywhere. And it's
they probably just bought the cheapest. Hey, this is a secondary reel. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Or this is all the like, what's it called? Unused ends.
Oh, yeah,
or whatever
it could be
it's
something
called.
like that. They just glued them and taped them together.
Exactly. Yeah. But for as terrible as this movie is, that's one of the moments that sits in my mind is that music. And that music is just so, it's so simple. It's so elegant, but like it tells a story. It tells a story of like,
especially for the time.
Yeah. Especially for the time. That music is, I've struggled, but I can overcome.
Yeah.
Like that's what that music tells me, especially in that moment. And whenever that music plays in every little spot that it's actually in, it's the same, it's telling the same story with that musical cue.
Yeah, it is. If it's somber, it's a somber. And it's very 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Very 80s. I mean, I almost feel like when I was watching it, the vibe I got was, oh man, this is like bad karaoke in the 80s. You know, like the songs you would pick for that stuff.
Take. Oh man. All right. And so let's see where we get to. And then, so arriving in Hong Kong, Dukes befriends American Val Tudo fighter Ray Jackson and their guide, Victor Lin. All right. What do we think about their Victor's introduction, definitely.
It's definitely cool.
But not Ray's introduction.
It's a video game. And
no, it's not. It's on the bus.
It was on the bus.
On the bus, and he's hitting on the Chinese lady.
Yeah.
And for anyone who doesn't know, in Asian culture, they're very well. Like, let's be honest, people in general like don't come up to me when you have that much bluster. But especially in Asian cultures, you definitely don't do that. And it just shows just his character and just what a rogue.
Yeah, I think it was also, for me, it felt like it was kind of attack on, because like Frank Duke's character, he's Austrian in a way. I mean, and it shows this very, oh man, this is America coming in. They'll just be, and I was
they'll just be American.
They just come over and just be like, I want you, lady, and let me take you over on a date.
I do everything I want.
Ray Jackson.
I'm American and I take what I want.
Yeah. And his fighting style was just straight redneck. I mean.
Oh, 100%. He was totally just like using his weight.
Haymakers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wrestling, basically.
I can take a hit and I'll dish it out, too. Yeah. Like, well, it says Todo fighter. Or a Veil Todo fighter. I want to go in. I want to agree with you, but I really want to click this and like see what an actual Veil Todo fighter is. Because, all right.
I have a feeling it's probably like a Scottish because he seemed like he had some Scottish heritage. Like when they do the Scottish games.
Everything goes, everything allowed, no holds barred, basically. Unarmed, full contact sport were it became popular in Brazil in the 20th century. Would eventually evolve into modern day mixed martial arts. Okay. So we learned something. Yeah. Interesting. Even though he didn't use any of those techniques whatsoever. Yeah. He went to straight 80s action movie martial arts, which is just punching and
super
body
slow
slamming
mos and close ups.
Using his head.
He threw. Oh, he did throw people out of the ring.
He threw people literally out of the ring.
Yeah.
This is true. He did do that. So it's a focus on striking and grappling, which is exactly what he did. So, okay. Cool. And, so the country of origin for that style of fighting is Brazil.
Okay.
I
can see that because
cool.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, exactly.
Dominated the MMA.
So they get there, they get to the hotel. What did you think about the whole like coin replacing the coin
with the Arab dude?
Yeah.
Oh man, for that it showed me this skill that you're going to see later on with Dukes. Mm-hmm. It's the early time you see that he's quicker than anybody in the room. In a way, he was able to get the coin out of his hand and swap it before the guy could even see it. Mm-hmm. So for early setup for me and watching it so many times, it's like I automatically went to. You see this guy is not only he's a badass. Yeah. Right. And almost like Goku in a way. He's super, you're underestimating him from the very beginning. Yeah. Just the slow reveal of the guy's face, when he sees the coin. Mm-hmm. I definitely, I think it showed like this supernatural power that he's going to be entering. I mean, but that was Frank Dukes anyway. I mean, all his, yeah, his legend.
His legend.
Yeah. And my favorite thing is the end where it shows. 200 something knockouts in a single competition. I was like, God, man, I've trained with some badass motherfuckers. And
well, I was going to save that to the end, but since you brought it up,
I'm sorry.
So that's okay. Yeah. So let's go back a little bit in the film, and Victor is walking them to the hotel. Yeah. Victor says there's only one Kumite every 5 years. Mm-hmm. So the number of Kumite matches he had in a span of 1977 to 1985, he would not have
that many
a match a day for a year, because I think in the ending text, it said he was in like 329 matches. Yeah. That makes no sense whatsoever if a match only happens every 5 years.
Yeah. It wouldn't.
So.
And that's one of the things also, like, I have no clue about what the Kumite really is. I know that I've met some people.
It's made up.
Is it?
It's made up.
Okay.
Well, like the concept might be a thing, but actually being called Kumite, not made a thing.
I got you. Because I know some fighters that fought in Abu Dhabi and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things they're like, what is that? So it's one of those kind of underground. Yeah. But still, you're picking the best of the best of the best. And you're not going to have 700 contestants. You're going to probably have about 40 of the best coming in, you know?
Exactly.
So when I was sitting there and I watched it, and I was like, oh, man. And then everything with him was like the fastest knockout, the fastest, world record. And my favorite thing was when I researched it, there's no evidence.
Yeah, no evidence whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like, there'd be documentation of this stuff. Yeah. I definitely think... regardless, Frank Dukes, as a trainer and I've seen some stories and stuff about it. I'm sure if you've caught him on the street, he could probably whoop somebody's ass.
Oh, 100%.
But I don't think he could fucking blow your heart out with like the death touch or some shit like that. But
no. I think that's just like what the kids use today is some Riz. That's just some Riz to Riz up the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. They're skeptical to talk about the Demok death touch.
Yeah.
What was hilarious is like the second day of the competition, Ray Jackson is like, you want to see me do it? You can't do it. Oh, yeah. And he just smashes it on his head and just gives it to him. There you go.
Well, my favorite is he sets it up and goes, I already know the bottom one, right? And then he says, it's not even been touched. Here you go.
Demok this.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, so we'll get into the actual like fighting of it. Oh, what was really cool too, honestly, is, and I don't know if this is actually real, but when Victor is talking to them about the city, it was interesting too, because he's talking about now you're entering the Forbidden City, which is like it's an invisible border into mainland China. It's essentially like you guys are now in the wild, wild west.
Anything can go.
Anything can go.
You're not supposed to fight, you would be disqualified.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, not even that. Like just living there, you're like the locals.
Yeah.
You're literally in the wild, wild west. Like this is
Yeah.
Like their version of the Yakuza. This is where these guys live.
Yeah. And it gets me that the military guys could even get in there. It's kind of like, the triad.
Triad.
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
Thank
triad.
you. Yeah, Chinese triads. Thank you.
Yeah. When that one part happens, it's like when I was older watching it, when you see them there, I was like, when I was younger, I was like, oh yeah, they found him. I was like, and then when you're older, you're like, the triad ain't gonna let these guys in. Yeah, it's like one of those no zones for even here, like if it's super drugged out. After 6 o'clock, you ain't coming in the police yet.
But what was so interesting too, though, is how they show that change with the scenery.
Yeah, they do. And then the camera walks through the POV.
Yeah, and the thing is all that is like, it's real. They're actually using it.
Yeah.
Like you're in a nice, cool, modern day city in the 80s, and you cross that invisible border, and you're just like, oh my God.
They made it look cringy and stuff.
Yeah, they literally look like a cesspool.
Yeah. Definitely like you was crossing into an invisible border into a whole different forbidden land.
Exactly. And I clocked that when I was watching it again. I was just like, oh, that's actually a very interesting detail on this. So, okay, now let's get on to the first day's matches.
Okay.
We first meet Chung Lee. You were kind of already talking about it, but what were your initial thoughts getting to that bit?
One thing I hated is he's like the champion, right? And his very first thing, he breaks the record. It's like the immediately first match, he takes that guy and breaks like his own record at that point. It's kind of like, I think that's distasteful. It's like, because then Frank Dukes later on breaks the record again.
Yeah.
It's just like, what's the record? This guy he's the champion before. He probably broke the record already before, broke his own record. And then at the end, 30 seconds.
Athletes do that. They do tend to do that.
They do.
Yeah.
I just don't see it like happening very first day, very first Chun-Li,
Well, you're
talking about the best of the best too. That's
true.
what I was saying.
Yeah.
For me, that's why I was saying it's a little distasteful because I would think like the fastest knockout would be when you're fighting the best of the best in the whole world.
And it goes a little bit longer just because you guys are
you're worn
so
out.
good.
Yeah. I think everybody, very first day, it'd be like, God, they're still brawling it out, Definitely like 5th or 6th day. And that's one thing I hated was they didn't show much of the bruises till later on.
Well, it's an 80s film, they weren't going to really do that.
Yeah,
no,
I get that.
Unfortunately, but they didn't have the time or the budget.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. Okay. So what do we think about the reporter?
I get her character for the 80s. They had to always have a love interest somewhere.
Somewhat. Yeah.
I didn't. You would think that in the end credits, I think that she would have reported. It would have been like, well, something she reported to show some legitimacy of. Because I think they just wrote her character in. I don't think. I'm more than likely she wasn't there if there was a Kumite.
Yeah.
But I didn't really care for her character. And realistically, I wish it would have been an Asian girl, maybe instead of an American reporter. I mean, an American reporter,
They're still, I wouldn't say they're doing the whole like whitewashing thing there, but they are, because this is a film geared towards American audiences. They want a couple more American people in there. So I totally get what they're doing. And I do think that was a thing, especially if we get to the TV show Tokyo Vice, because that's based on a true story. That was a real thing. I think he was I forgot the guy's real name, but small tangent. But he was the first Westerner to be a hired reporter for, I forgot what the newspaper was called, but it was like the New York Times of the Asian world.
Okay.
Yeah. And this was in the 90s or early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
So if we ever get to Tokyo Vice, amazing show, we can start talking about that. So, but basically what I'm saying is it's a thing, but that happened in real life later on down the road. Yeah. So anyways, but I get your point, and that, it would have been cool.
Yeah. That's just me. That's one little kind of like caveat I hated. I figured, if the film's about martial arts, maybe make it a female martial artist that maybe couldn't get into the competition because she was a female or something,
Yeah.
That's one thing I hate about that character. It's kind of like I felt like they just made it to throw it in as a love interest. That was just me.
Oh, they 100% did. Yeah. It's like the 80s. We need action and tits and ass.
Yeah.
That's what the 80s were.
You know,
action, tits, and ass.
I'm going to throw in my favorite line of the whole movie. Okay. And it's one of these sincere moments at the end. Frank, wherever you are, wherever you need to, I will be there. I got you, brother. And I was
No. He said, I love you.
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you too. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, man, you got this whole badass fight scene and all this stuff. And then you're going to have this sentimental stuff between this big fucking man. It's like, I was like, that kind of killed it for me. But when you're a kid, you're like, oh my God, they're going to be best friends for life. I
think my favorite line was the very end. You're always late when he's on the plane.
Yeah.
That was like, funny.
I think he's not coming.
Actually, you know what? I take it back. My favorite line, like serious line, is the old man, because towards the end of the film, if you've never seen this before, eventually he gets the two CID guys to actually go and watch him fight, and the reporter chick, and they all basically show him. Well, he shows them like, hey, this is me. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They see how talented he is. And the very end, the old man goes, just glad you're on our side, kid.
Yeah.
That's such a great line.
And I'll give you, that's one of, as a serious line, I think it also pays a good thing, like he's part of the American, which is weird. I think he's Canadian. Can you?
I don't know. Oh, I can look it up.
Yeah, look up Frank. I think Frank Dukes was a Canadian citizen. And I kept thinking that's another thing that kind of bothered me. Can you be and you might know this.
Okay.
Can you be a U.S. Air Force if you're a Canadian citizen?
You can, but you have to give up your native country citizenship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's Canadian. I think when I looked up.
It also depends on the country. Yeah, he was born in Toronto.
Yep.
So it's not even
an American, but
he's a Canadian American guy.
Canadian American. But that's one of that one line. Definitely anything with Shidoshi. Those scenes were very.
Those are the best scenes of the whole film.
Oh, I agree.
And it set up the emotional impact on everything
from the very beginning when he takes the sword and trying to steal the sword. I hated the kick when the kid comes in. It's like. Just like takes him out real easy. Because when I was a kid, when you used to get in fights, it wasn't one kick kind of took you out or one. I mean, you learn pretty early on. You can take a few.
You can take a little bit.
Yeah. But anything with like we was talking about though, him and the two FBI guys, they were seasoned actors, while these other guys I think were just kind of thrown in as an early role. Anything with his scenes were just incredible. I think.
So. What I really liked about it, it was like they're showing the tournament of this whole thing, and like the fighters are starting to like get whittled down, and then he meets the reporter chick, and they're having the nice flirty flirt thing going on.
Yeah,
and he eventually beds her, and then she's just like, "Oh, you can't get me into the tournament." And he goes, "No, I can't."
Yeah,
but I can't do his accent. It's all good. I'm so sorry. And his acting was awful, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And then he gets there. And what happens?
She's there.
She's a pretty face, and she got in.
Yeah, and I like how they did that, though, because when he's talking to Victor, I think it's Victor, you see her in the background, and I thought that was very tasteful for like the filmmakers. I was like, you're including this little thing that's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
And you see it before he sees it, and then, sadly... For her character, I'm sure she had to sleep with that guy as like a prostitute in order to get in. That's
in the story, 100. Actually, no, I take it back. No, probably
you don't
not.
think so?
No, I think she probably teased and promised a lot of stuff afterward.
Okay, I'll go with that one. I'll go with that one.
I feel like that's what she actually did, to be honest. I don't like the narrative that like women in film at least have to literally sleep to the top. I mean, that's definitely a thing, but I don't think it's as predominant as we think it is. I could be wrong.
Yeah. But I'm on the mix about that on the fence.
Okay.
And not getting into it too much, but I think a lot of it's opportunity. It's men too. Men would take an opportunity, and then they bitch about it.
Yeah. Well, at least in the given circumstances of the film, she could have done that, but I'm thinking she went the Lois Lane route. That's what I'm trying to say. She went the Lois Lane route. She promised, flirted, did all that stuff, but when it came down to the end of the day, she got what she wanted, and she got what she wanted. Yes.
And those guys already saw her in there, so it's kind of like, I guess you're welcome anyway. If they already saw you part of the tournament, it's like I don't think anybody at the door would be like, "Hold up, wait."
Exactly,
they recognize you. You're supposed to be there at that point.
Yeah. So, what were some other high points in the plot for you?
For me, like I said, anything with Shidoshi, even the flashbacks. And I'm going to revert one thing.
Okay.
Instead of my favorite character being Jackson, it's the ring dude.
Oh, the ring guy was
without
amazing.
a doubt.
Yeah.
Because he never talks, but everything, that very last fight scene, when he grabs him up, it's like you could tell he's like, he could probably handle himself.
Yeah.
And he just lets him go. And it's
that's perfect. How can I put this? That is a perfect example of not necessarily being a main actor, not necessarily even being a supporting actor. And I wouldn't even say a day play. I would say he's like somewhere in the mix of a featured extra supporting cast, because he has no lines.
But he's there. In about every scene.
But this is what I mean, though. It's a perfect example of acting, making your part memorable in a film, but not having any lines whatsoever.
Yeah. And that's hard to do.
It's very hard to do.
Yeah.
Very, very hard.
Even, it just hit me, one of the moments, even as a kid, sorry, when Chun-Li kills that dude, when the guy comes over and he grabs him, and they all do the stand up and turn around when he looks over at the, the judges, his emotion is 100% there. I mean, that actor, I think, killed that role.
Oh, yeah.
Without having lines. I mean, that's why I was saying at the start, I was like, let me go back.
Like when he checks the dude's neck and is like, and looks at Chung-Li, his face tells it all.
Yeah.
You see the hate, you see the shame, you see the disgust. Yeah, you see it all.
It's almost like he's waiting for him. Like when he grabs him, he's waiting for him to realize you just killed, somebody that you're supposed to be in competition with, not destroy your competition. But these are supposed to be, and he's waiting for a reaction when he's just, that's when he's like, has to stand up and make it clear that this should be disrespectful.
But no, it's just, so that was really on it. I mean, we can talk about the ending fight. I love the ending fight.
I think, yeah.
Or do you want to talk about Ray Jackson versus Chung-Li first, and then get into
Let's
the
go
main
Ray
fight?
Jackson versus Chun-Li.
Right.
I'm gonna
let you take the lead on this, because this is more your film.
I love this movie.
So give it to me.
Man, goes in. I'm talking about, he probably could have beat him. I mean, realistic. He's like, Frank told me to stay away from, I think it was the right.
From his gut.
Yeah. He said, go for the gut. And he said, stay away. This is like left leg. I forgot what it was. But he was like, right leg. Yeah. He was like, stay away from that right leg. And he's doing everything. And he's listening to him. He's going for that guy. And then he's over celebrating. And he's like, oh, I got the bastard. Oh yeah. And it's like, for me at that moment, do what you did before. Grab him and throw his ass out of the ring.
Yeah.
Throw his ass out. Do it. You're the biggest guy probably there.
Yeah.
And he's already hurt, but he let him recover, and he whooped him at that point. And I thought when I was younger, because I remember like Top Gun when Goose died, and I was like, this is going to be one of those moments when you're a kid, you're like, oh, he's going to kill his friend, but no, he just like really badly busts his head,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes into like the music for this film. Some of the cinematography is bad, but some of it's really great. Like one of my favorite, it's funny because they do that bit where he's like in the train and he's remembering the fight, and he thinks he's seeing Chung-Li everywhere.
Yeah.
That's very reminiscent of a bit in Never Back Down, where he's also in a train and he's thinking of the guy. Yeah. You know, it's like the shots are very, very similar.
Yeah.
But honestly, one of my favorite shots is him resenting doing his kata on top of like that ledge thing, and you see all of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. It's the 1980s. So what's that mean? Your boy's lubed up. He's lubed up like greased lightning. And he's doing everything, and all the muscles are popping, and he's tan. And
he's in the split formation.
Yeah, it's almost like if I was in the theater, I would just hear all the women just hooting and hollering.
Oh yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh my God, Jean Claude, you're so hot, Jean Claude." Yeah. You know, all that stuff. Yeah, but
and that scene.
Yeah,
I watched it, and I still don't get how they shot that.
What do you mean?
I kept thinking, is it on location? Did they shoot it with a crane? And I started thinking, they're way up. You can't get a crane that high. You couldn't, as high as they are up. And I started thinking, did they shoot it through a window? And then I started thinking, was it maybe an early green screen? So I was like really watching to see if the boats and stuff was moving. I mean, I was like really like, let's wind it back a little bit. Let's see if the boots are moving.
I think it was on location. I think it's real.
I think it would have been very hard to do green screen back then to make it that. And it's just
it would have looked terrible.
Yeah, it's one of the scenes, and that's why I was saying it's like one of the most beautiful shots because I still don't get how in the hell they got that.
And those are sometimes one of the greatest shots ever when you can't even figure out how they did it.
Yeah, without a doubt. And those cameras back then were heavy.
Oh yeah,
that's why I was massive. How the hell did they get this? You know, is there maybe thinking about it now? Maybe there's a like a hotel that's under it, and that's the ledge they went up maybe 20 foot with a crane.
Maybe
and shot. Maybe.
Yeah. I was thinking a crane shot. Well, I was definitely thinking a crane shot. I think they would have enough money at least for that.
Yeah. I had when I saw that, there's a friend of mine in Brandon's. We call him Safety Dave. Every film, he'll break safety rules all the time. Like he'll be like, "Oh, you need to be in a harness when you're over 6 feet on the ground." But he will be like 20 feet in the air, and I'll be looking at him. I'm like, "Well, what about your harness, though, bro?" But I was sitting there thinking, right when I saw that shot, and he's so close to the ledge, I was just hearing Safety Dave. Somebody get a safety on him. Somebody get a safety on him. And so it's like years later watching, I was like, because I just recently worked with him, and I was just like, in my mind, I've got this friend of mine who's like, you know, that's a safety coordination problem. And I was like, you know, thinking he could have, if he was just lean forward just a little bit.
Yeah.
Super death.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And then we get to the ending fight.
Yeah.
Now not even getting to the ending fight, or my bit that I really love is him just walking down that alley again, completely alone. There's no one with him.
And then having that feeling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he starts single-handedly taking out all the police that are there to abduct him.
Yeah.
And then that's when he puts the
shield.
Yep. The Captain America shield. Yeah, that's a trash lid. Yeah. It somehow bounces the tasers off and hits the other two police people. And then,
which wouldn't make sense because you have to have a connecting. If they're if you got hit with one, I got hit with one. Unless we're holding hands or something, there's no current that can be passing through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I like that moment because they finally give up. The CID cops. Yeah. They're finally like, okay, we don't agree with this, but we'll watch you.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. And then they get in there, and then you start seeing them slowly change their mind, being like, oh, whoa, this dude.
Yeah. I almost wanted to see the Forrest Whitaker character because he seemed like he was kind of more of the grimy of the bunch. I was hoping to see him start betting. You know, I was hoping to see him start betting.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious.
While we're here, let's just go ahead and make some money.
Let's go and make some money because Dukes, you my man.
You my man, Dukes. You my man.
You my man. But like just going into that fight, that ending. Well, no, not even just that. Honestly, like when he's fighting the kickboxer too.
Yeah.
Or not the kickboxer. I think he's
TIE
more
fighter. Yeah.
I was thinking he was actually Slavat, but okay.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I always thought, because around the same time...
Guys, we're talking about the tattoo guy. He looks like he's an Irish guy, right?
Yeah. And he would always...
Yeah, he's always...
They came up, Yeah. And then he did the same thing, too. That's one thing I like, too. Like, he tried to emulate him. And I was like, that's, in a way, that's like showing that he was willing to drop his martial arts, what he knew, and go play with somebody else in their kind of field. Yeah. I hated the kicks.
Really? I love that part. It's just like, come on, keep going for it.
I'm saying, but for the fact that this dude, like any kickboxer, is going to be used to taking him. It's like,
yeah, that's true.
I thought it's like you start seeing him like really wailing in, and then he's like starts really going in, and I was like, maybe do that with like a different fight. I get the idea of it, but for me, I was sitting there while I was watching. I was like, that dude could probably be, he's probably trained to be taking those. But it's also playing off that he's got this kick, this Demok is going to be not just hitting, it's blowing into this guy's guts in a way.
Yeah.
So
I was just thinking when I was watching that, they're both very good kickers, but Jean Claude is more conditioned.
Oh, without
his
a
body's
doubt.
built to be able to take that punishment more as opposed to the other guy.
Yeah. And
that's how I took it.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Especially like it shows like Shidoshi put him. I mean, you see what he's been putting him through.
Oh yeah.
His body's been tortured, you know, without a doubt, wrecked to oblivion, you know. Shidoshi.
But then we get to that ending fight.
Yeah.
Dukes is up there, Chung Li is up there, emotions are charged.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, who's going to win this? The reporter chick is freaking the fuck out. Because I don't know if she loves the guy, but she definitely cares for the guy at least. And then we just start seeing them go.
Yeah.
And it's really awesome. And then because he's getting him. Yeah. And then he pulls that stunt that every 80s bad guy does. They just do something cheap and fogs his eyes up, and now Jean Claude's on the ropes, and then it was so like this inspirational and emotional because he's taking him out now, and he's on the ground, he's screaming in frustration
in slow
motion, 80s slow mo guys, and then he calms down, he centers himself, and then he goes back to his training, and then the tables turn again,
and they did that tasteful when they show. Early on, and I'm pretty sure it didn't just happen in the flashback, but early on when he puts the tee down and then he catches the punch. So it's foreshadowing that even blind, he could destroy.
He's a weapon.
He's a weapon, without a doubt. And that's, the fight scene for that, I think anybody that's ever seen Bloodsport loves that scene. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he just goes into it, and like he even throws the ref at him and he catches him. It's like, no. And then he brings him back. And then he's back into it. He's filling out. He's doing his defenses.
Filling the way,
Exactly. And it was such a great direction that showed the tension.
Yeah.
And then he goes, because then that guy shows up. He's on the crouch. He's about to go in. And then he just starts doing his defensive kick, and he's just forcing the guy back. And then he starts pummeling him. It was just amazing. And then as he's winning and over and outmaneuvering this guy blind, you start seeing the two CID guys getting into it. You start seeing the woman get into it. It's like, what can this man not do? Yeah. And the crowd, and he eventually wins.
Yeah. Makes him say,
Mate. Which is uncle. Essentially, according to Victor.
Yeah.
And that was great. And then what I thought was amazing and kind of sealed the deal on that is when he gets the katana or the sword. I don't know if it's a katana or not. And the main elder tells him, you fought with honor and inspiration. Not just honor, but inspiration. That's what gets me all the time.
Yeah.
And that's another cool thing about this movie that like not a whole lot of people really think about is we need inspiration.
Yeah.
People need inspiration to do things in their lives, or they'll just be very.
If you're not inspired,
And obviously, the story is made up. It's fictitious. None of his claims are real. That's okay. Yeah. But the way that he has progressed and he's faced every challenge head on is inspirational.
Yeah.
And I would say that might be the theme of this film is honor and inspiration.
Yeah.
So
I'd say that.
Yeah.
What? And it just hit me. I want to know your ideas on the sumo guy versus him.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I love that scene.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he did the ultimate, like, you should never do it to another man. kick him in the balls.
He didn't kick him in the balls. He went to the splits and
he
just
did the Johnny
uppercut.
Cage. Yeah.
He split and then just uppercutted that.
And then that guy's face. I mean, I felt it for him. And even as a kid, when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, I could feel that for you. I'm sorry." You know?
I'm feeling it right now, bro.
Thinking about his face, he pulled it off good.
Smashed.
Yeah, I just said he had the whole momentum of coming up. You know,
well, it's not even that. It was just like his like second one, like even before he went to the split, he just like he just palmed him right there in the sternum, and it's just like and all the baby oil and sweat's falling off. You see veins everywhere. He's just like Yeah. And then he does the splits and does the uppercut. And then he gets back up and it's just like,
and then just pushes him over.
Yeah,
I like that he did that tasteful, like, I'm not going to hurt you anymore,
exactly.
you know. Didn't do a Chun-Li.
No. Yeah. That was great. And then, after that, it's just a nice ending at the airport. He says bye to the girl. And the same running joke keeps happening. He keeps outmaneuvering the CID guys. They're just like, well, he's done it to us again.
He's not coming back with us to America.
Nope. And then you hear that whistle and they look up at the plane and go, guys.
Yeah. You notice, though, he let them get on first and he's standing outside.
Yeah.
I would have made him go on first.
Oh, well, yes.
Without a doubt. Like, you got to go before I'm going to.
But this is movie making.
It is.
And then the CID guys go in. Forrest Whitaker just being like, you're a pain in the ass, right?
Yeah. Just
walks on in. And then my favorite line that I can't remember in this moment because I already said it like 15.
Glad you're.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Brandon doing the Brandon check.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're on our side, kid.
Glad you're on our side.
And then he walks on in. And that, and then like probably my favorite ending to a film because I do it. I catch myself doing it is like instead of like saying something to the girl, he just goes like, ciao. Mm-hmm. He does
Leaves
the Al Borland.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He does. She does that.
She does
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he does it right back to her. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that it ended so good, and then you threw that little cheese in at the end. I was like, oh man, just leave it alone.
Honestly, I like every bit of that ending. Like him just being like ciao and her. Well, no. So like this is what that ending shows me.
Yeah.
It shows me that they had a little. What I would call rendezvous with destiny. Yeah. They had that, but ultimately they're friends. They care about each other, and they respect each other.
Yeah, you could definitely feel that through the whole film.
And not just that, she understands who he is because this whole time that we've been watching this with their interactions, she doesn't understand him
until that last. It's weird because
she finally sees who he is.
Yeah.
In that final fight, but we don't get to see them like talk about that or anything. And
it was hinted a little bit. Remember, like he said, "Why did you want to be?"
That's before the fight, though.
Yeah,
that's before the fight. And even though they had that argument, but like watch her reaction in that moment. She still doesn't understand what he's saying.
She had to see it. What it meant for him.
Yes, exactly. She had to see it.
Yeah.
And then when she comes off that bus and he goes like that. Because he knows how she is. He's just like, all right, well, I'll see you later. She goes, no. I see you.
Yeah.
And does that.
Yeah. And after seeing, because I remember he was a Street Fighter too. So whenever he does this, all I see is Giles,
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Street
like,
Fighter.
Yeah.
In our current, in our usual segments that we do.
Yeah.
What would, if someone gave you this script and was like, hey, I want you to make this movie, X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
What would you want to do? Like basically, what would you want to do? We're doing a remake.
Yeah. How would I do it?
How would you want to do it?
All right.
Who would you want to cast?
Who would I?
Where would you want to set it?
Yeah.
Like have it set the whole shebang. I want to hear it. This is your movie.
Okay. Ooh, you kind of threw me for a curveball on that one a little bit. Definitely, let's just say Jean Claude's going to be Frank Dukes because I never seen anybody. I can never think of anybody play him other than him. I guess for me, because I grew up watching it. So I'm going to keep him as Frank Dukes.
An older Frank Dukes in his 70s. Okay.
Yeah. Older Frank Dukes in the 70s. You talking about doing it modern?
I'm talking about I am giving you a script. I'm giving you money. We are redoing this movie. You're the director. What do you want to do?
What do I want to do? Oh, that's right. I would definitely some of the things like I hated. I wouldn't have made the journalist American. I mean, I'm just going to go with that.
Okay.
I would have probably still done it as because it was still more men fighting in that.
Mhm.
Like I would play off that a very strong female character, Asian. Definitely. Maybe like a Lucy Liu or something. Let's say we're doing it in the 80s, like a Lucy Liu at that time.
Okay.
Let's say Lucy Liu. And maybe her brother is a fighter in the Kumite and maybe that died and maybe that knew the son.
Mhm.
Let's just play off that. Maybe she comes every 5 years to pay homage to her brother that died. And then she sees this dude and she hears Democ.
Mhm.
So we'll play off. That's me. Let's play off that she's there in support of a dead brother. The Shidoshi is, she hears Democ, so I got to find out about this guy. Love interest still. Let's play off the love interest.
Yeah.
But very strong woman. Maybe she's against the CID, right? These guys, she's helping fight, she's keeping him to be able to end the competition.
Mhm.
She's working the angle on the outside. Let's play off that angle. Definitely the CID guys, they need to stay doing what they're doing. The comedy in a crazy town that they don't understand. I would have beefed up some of the fight scenes. If we did it more modern, it'd be, I hate to say Brazilian jiu-jitsu and stuff. But
you can keep it with the.
If we keep it with the times.
No, you can keep it with the different styles of martial arts being mixed in there.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Let's
Because
play it off like that.
that's the thing. So like
The best of the best.
MMA is what MMA is now, of course.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a very big sport in the world, but it's not every country does it.
Yeah.
So like you can have people who do MMA traditionally, or you can have people who specialize in jiu-jitsu and that's what they're doing, or kickboxing, taekwondo.
What is it? Ultimate UFC.
Yeah, UFC.
Well, did you ever see because I used to train.
I've
the
only,
originals were the Kumite, basically.
Okay.
You would have the fighters, and what it was to get to the top, everybody fought, you was eliminated. Immediately, second round, dude's already beat up. You don't get one fight for the night. You got to fight again, and that's when Royce Gracie and the Gracies started implementing jiu-jitsu. So it started becoming if you could tap out, well, you could win. Well, everybody started going, well, okay, you're an American boxer. If you go to the ground, I mean, you're going to lose anyway to Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I hated how it became, because the early ones was like a sumo guy. I mean, realistically, that dude got his tooth knocked out.
Yeah.
One of I think it was like UFC 1. Yeah, UFC. The homeboy just kicks him, and there's no regulation, and you just see his teeth fly out. And we saw that on VHS growing up. Because, we was, when we was training, who was it? Who was the guy? Ken Shamrock, was kind of like one of the...
look that way if you're going to talk to your brother.
Yeah, Ken Shamrock.
I'm teaching this man camera discipline.
That's right. And for me, it was kind of Kumite in a way. You would, and I mean, when you saw the two last guys, I mean, they were beat all to hell. So I would let's play off keeping it that way, but maybe no Brazilian jiu-jitsu in it at all.
Okay. Let's
just play off like, in order to go there, it's got to be stand-up fighting on.
Okay.
If you go to the ground, maybe they break you up. Because I definitely think showcase, karate, taekwondo, and you have aikido and stuff like that. I would make it like that. And I think my biggest angle, I'd add more of a love angle in a way. Keep it like the 80s. The love was there. But play off like this, maybe make the Lucy Liu character more of a supporting,
Yeah.
She's show her as a badass. Like when those people she's kicking their ass, keeping him in the competition. Somehow they come in at the end or something. That's how I guess if I had it, that's how I would do it. And I'm sure, I know Frank Dukes was highly, the real Frank Dukes he was big into that film because it was a film about him and he wanted to showcase his life needs to be in the film. So I think if you kept it like that, him as like one of the producers, he wouldn't be like, as long as I'm winning. And
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How would you do it though? That's the question. Would it be a love interest or would it be Bloodsport?
Okay, so same scenario. I'm getting a script. I'm getting a bunch of money. I'm doing a remake on this. Well, my take on it would be different. So we already know nowadays that, yes, this is a film about his life, about claims.
Yeah.
That are not true.
Not true at all.
So what would I do? I would take the basic premise of the story and do something different. I would make it modern.
Okay.
I would change the location. I wouldn't do Hong Kong. I might actually, originally I was thinking Panama, but now I'm thinking Dominican Republic.
Okay.
Set it there. And we're doing mixed martial arts. Now, and what I mean by mixed martial arts is sort of like how it was in the original film. So like this guy's Taekwondo guy, like all that stuff. Now, because of how movies and fighting are nowadays, that's going to be their specialty. But like they're all going to be doing other stuff. But I don't want to make it all about the ground game either.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting to watch, but you can only watch it so much.
Yeah.
Especially when it's two people going toe to toe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would mix in the fighting. I would probably keep it more towards like the 80s film of fighting and not go all like John Wick with it.
Yeah.
That's my take. Would I keep it as Frank Dukes? I could keep the name. I might change the character up. I might keep the basic premise. It's a small dojo, and his teacher is dying of cancer, and maybe there's like prize money or something in it.
Yeah.
And he's doing it to honor his Sadoshi, but like he's also doing it to like sort of help him maybe go through, fight his cancer or something like that.
Yeah.
So similar storyline. I mean, we could keep the reporter storyline. That might be kind of cool. Or,
I mean, it would probably make sense in Dominican Republic.
It would still be cool in Dominican Republic to keep that storyline and then make it like a Latina actress. That would be cool. So keep that storyline going. And then, have like a really cool, like local guy there to show him around. That would be kind of cool too. And then like show a little bit of the DR, what the life is like down there, stuff like that. That would be pretty cool. Actors and actresses in mind, I really don't know right now.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I would do with it. I kind of dig that idea and like keep the same story, but like change the location, modernize it just a tad bit.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I didn't even think about that. That would be a kind of little cool way of playing that. What was it? Warrior. You ever see Warrior?
Yeah. Oh, I love Warrior. Warrior's great.
I mean, thinking when you started talking, I was like, man, maybe even like make it a war, but minus the ground game and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But okay. So now we're moving on to.
We gotta first say our review system. Would you?
Oh, well, I wasn't even there yet, man.
Oh, okay. I thought you was talking about
no. We're going into the production segment of this, guys. All right. So the writing. Co-writer Sheldon Leach came up with the idea for the film. According to the writer, he had known Frank Dukes for a number of months before he came up with the idea for Bloodsport. Frank told him a lot of tall tales, most which turned out to be, in his words, bullshit. But most of his stories about participating in this so-called Kumite event sounded like a great idea for a movie. So there was one guy who he was introduced to named, I'm not going to say that, swore everything that Frank told him was true, but a few years later, Frank and this guy had a falling out, and the guy was like, nah, it was bullshit, man.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how the story came about. They did shoot it on location in Hong Kong late 1986 in late 96 or 86. I'm so sorry, guys. I
kind of like knowing that now.
So this is a cool thing. So, and this is what I was talking about. Bloodsport is one of the few films featuring scenes filmed in the Kalu walled city before its demolition in 1993. So that's the forbidden city that we were talking about. So it was destroyed in 1993.
Yeah.
We could go into the soundtrack, I guess. The soundtrack was kind of cool. The soundtrack was composed by Paul Herzog. I can't say that right. Who would also compose the score for Jean Claude's next film, Kickboxer.
Okay.
For the movie, Bloodsport songs Fight to Survive and On My Own were performed by Stan Bush. But Bush's performances were replaced on the soundtrack with alternate versions sung by Paul Delph.
Okay, because I didn't think that was Stan Bush.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Stan Bush.
So, yeah, I mean, that kind of sucks for that guy.
Yeah.
But apparently there were sequels and possible remakes. There were Bloodsport 2, The Next Kumite, Bloodsport 3, and Bloodsport 4, The Dark Kumite, 1996, 97, and 99.
Yeah. When I looked that up, when we was talking about watching it, I didn't realize they had multiple Bloodsports. Like me and Brandon was talking about it, and he was like, there's more than one. And I was like, apparently there's more than one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had no clue. I guess it did so well you would follow up.
Well, what's funny is when stars and digital cable finally became a thing in the mid-aughts or the mid-00s, whatever we call them.
Yeah.
It was either Bloodsport 2 or 3 was on there. I was like, ooh, more Jean Claude Van Damme?
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Okay, but I started watching them. I was like, no, and all the stories were awful, so I just quit watching it. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, now we can go into our rating system.
Rating. Of course, I would always watch this movie because it's kind of in my DNA. So for me, our rating system is if I rented it today, I would still pay the money if I had to watch it without a doubt. If I didn't grow up with it, I'll probably not. I'm not gonna lie. But for me, I say I like it, regardless of whatever it's ever gonna be. And it's terribly awesome movie.
It's terribly awesome.
What about you?
Honestly, I would buy it because, well, I did.
Yeah, I do too. I got it. Yeah,
I have it on Blu-ray in a double feature set with Bloodsport and Time Cop. And what's hilarious is I never pull out Time Cop, but I always pull out Bloodsport.
Yeah, I got the double with Kickboxer.
Oh, okay.
So I never pull out Kickboxer. This time I watched it. I think it was Peacock though, because I was
doing his little dance thing or whatever it was. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what? Ooh. This is a new segment that I thought of the other night, and I figured I would give it a whirl right now for you.
Let's do it.
This new segment will be called, What Are You Watching Now?
What am I watching now?
And I'm going to be presenting you with that question. What are you watching right now?
Ironically, The Walking Dead. I just finished, and it's one of the things, so many friends of mine kept saying, you need to watch it, you need to watch it, you need to watch it, because so I watched the whole Walking Dead, and then I went into, I didn't realize I had all these spinoffs, so I just finished, what is it?
Fear?
Fear of the, well, no, I'm in Fear of the Walking Dead.
Okay.
I finished the one with the Rick Grimes character, the ones that live.
Why did you do it that way?
Me, because it came up as on Netflix as next to watch. So for me, I was like,
it's not next to watch
because it's the more modern. But for me, also at the end, I was like, Rick comes back in and Michonne at the end. I was like, I just want to see what the hell happened to him.
Okay, well, I don't know what the timelines are. Hopefully, Daryl Dixon show.
I haven't seen that one
Dead
yet.
City.
I haven't seen that one yet.
And it's with Maggie.
Yeah,
and
I've seen the previews. I just haven't seen it yet.
And,
I got it in my queue.
And then that one. Hopefully, they all happen somewhere and within the same length of time because I don't know. But he did it wrong, folks.
I did it wrong.
You're supposed to do Walking Dead, Fear, Dead City, Daryl, and then that one. But there's also Beyond the World, and you need to watch Beyond the World before you watch Dead City. In other words,
I've heard of Beyond the World. I haven't.
It's only 2 seasons. There's a reason why it only lasted 2 seasons. However, I think it has the same organization that
CRM.
Yeah. CRM. Cool. So that's what you're watching right now.
That's what I've been watching. I'm trying to think movie wise. Right now, it's just been late nights. Get back from work, and I'm like, let me see if I could do an episode or 2.
Okay.
I finally right now Morgan just came in. I think I'm on season 4. So for Fear of the Walking Dead. So,
okay.
I mean, that's where I am right now.
That would be 3.
Season 3.
I think, yeah.
So I'm a little far. I think there's 8 seasons, right?
Or 7.
7.
They changed showrunners that season.
Okay.
And so now it's more of a Western.
It feels like it early on. I've only watched one episode so far, and I'm like, it got a whole different vibe.
Yeah. And they moved from California because they were actually shooting it in California. Now they are shooting it in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I like it so far. The new gunslinger, I like him. His
John Dory. Oh,
Yeah.
he was by far my favorite character.
Yeah, I want to see. Don't tell me if he dies or not. I just want to see.
I ain't telling you nothing. Don't worry about it.
Right now, I really like that character, and I mean, I've always liked Morgan as a character. I'm like,
I love Morgan in the show too. Yeah.
Very
but
conflicted.
No, Dory is literally my favorite character in that whole thing.
Okay, so I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes.
I love Dory. Dory's amazing.
What are you watching right now?
Dude, I watch a multitude of things. Most recently, I just finished. This has nothing to do with film or TV, but I just finished. It's called Court of Gold. It's a Netflix show. It's a sports documentary series.
Okay,
so it's talking about the basketball tournament for the 2024 Olympics and how that all went. So they're highlighting Team USA, Team Canada, Team France, Team Serbia. Those are the main teams that they're covering, and you're just getting like understand what went down and in that point in time in the basketball world.
Okay. In 2004?
No, 2024. My bad.
2024.
So the Olympics that just happened.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. So it was very interesting because people are dubbing the team that we just sent. They deemed it Dream Team 2.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. The only Dream Team I've ever recognized
was Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley. I think Scottie Pippen.
Oh God, yeah.
Pippen, bad. Yeah. Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
So
basically the 93 Bulls.
Yes, basically the 93 Bulls. And they were beating the teams back in the 90s.
Oh God.
Well, in that specific Olympics, like it was like a 30-point.
Oh God, yeah. You had Michael Jordan. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. The dude is the GOAT. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, that's just me. The hero when I was a kid.
So, same. Yeah. Like that's the Bulls, even though he's not with them anymore. That's still my favorite basketball team.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What they did.
Oh yeah.
I mean, championship. You
know what you need to watch now?
What's that?
You need to watch The Last Dance. That's on Netflix. Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Like I said, I'm a huge fan. Yeah.
It's so good. So that I have done the pilot episode or just episode 1 of. It's called 0 Day. And I
saw the.
I thought it was a movie with Robert De Niro, but it's actually a TV show.
Okay.
So that got me intrigued. I was like, why is he doing a TV show?
Yeah.
Because the same thing happened with me when Stallone was doing Tulsa King, because he was doing a TV show. I'm like,
is that any good?
I like it. Okay. You would like it. I was like, I wonder why he's doing a TV show. Let me check this out. Same thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger when he did Fubar on Netflix. He is doing a TV show. I was like, let me see what this is.
Okay. I haven't seen Fubar.
Oh, it's amazing in all the most wonderful, terrible ways.
Oh, man. That's my favorite 80s hero.
Same.
If you was to say real quick, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I guess you've already said it though. I was going to say Jean Claude, Sylvester Stallone. I mean, you had the best of the heroes at that point.
It's weird though, because like people consider the action movie Trinity as Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and Bruce Willis. And then some people say it like you do. Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Van Damme. I mean...
Well, you had Stegall.
Not really. His movies were all in the 90s.
True. I forgot about that.
His movies were 90s.
They were. Under Siege still love that movie.
Yeah.
I mean...
But like, it's weird. So like, what is the true Trinity though? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because...
Well, Arnold and Sly's in it, regardless. That's what I say.
Of course, but who's the third leg to this tripod?
Yeah.
So like, is it Van Damme? Because that came out in 87.
It'd probably be Bruce Willis.
Well, Die Hard came out in 89 or 88.
88, 89?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very late 80s.
Okay.
So.
God, that's a tough Trinity to follow up, I guess.
Well, no, it's interesting deciding, or even make it a Trinity at all and make it 4 people. I mean, you could do that too.
I guess you could.
You could.
I would viewer, still say, what do you think?
Yes,
viewers?
Please. In the comments on YouTube, please tell us who you think it is. Is it, this would be a good poll. Is it Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Van Damme, or Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Bruce Willis? You guys let us know.
Some of these guys will be like, oh, no, I'm going to name so.
Yeah. And then or just name us whoever the hell you want.
Superheroes.
It really doesn't matter. I mean, Jackie Chan did stuff in the 80s.
God,
too, so like, you tell us. It's all good.
Yeah, we'll just agree with you.
Well, I know about that, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting in the comments. Yeah. What else am I watching? Oh yeah. back to 0 Day. So it's interesting because he's doing a TV show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the pilot. It's a very interesting premise. So he is a former president.
Mm-hmm.
A cyber attack has happened, knocked out the power for at least 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then the power came back on. And obviously, it's a national crisis. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They decide to set up a commission to investigate this, and they want to put him in charge of it. So it's interesting because he's a former president. He's being put back into the political stage because he's already like put the pasture essentially.
Yeah.
And his character used to be a former prosecutor, so he's a very good investigator.
Okay.
He's got a good, sharp mind. He knows how to do all that stuff, right? Well, towards the end of the pilot, you realize something about this man. He has dementia.
Oh, shit.
And no one knows.
Wow. That's a pretty good, cool story to play off.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
So your lead investigator about this national crisis has dementia. And I'm assuming, because I haven't watched the rest of it, he's going to try to hide it.
Yeah, oh, without a doubt. And he's going to get caught somehow, some way.
Somehow. So that's interesting. I just finished Cobra Kai.
I haven't yet.
You
I'm in the last.
got to.
Yeah.
It's so good. And they tie it off nicely.
Okay. I've heard, and for me, I don't care about spoilers, but I'm just saying, it's, and this is the final. They're not trying another season, right?
Nope. This is it. It's done.
Because I kept thinking last time it was like, oh, it's done, and then
because they bring a lot of stuff full circle.
Okay, I got you.
I know you don't care about spoilers, but I also don't I don't want to ruin it for you.
I know.
Unless you absolutely want me to.
It's only 6 episodes, ain't it? Or something like that?
No, part 3. Have you not seen the entire season yet?
I've seen but they broke it into different parts.
Broken into parts of 5. So it's technically, it's a 15 episode season.
Oh, okay.
So part 1 was 5 episodes. Part 2 was 5 episodes. Part 3 is 5 episodes.
Okay, I got you.
So where are you in the season?
The new season coming in is where
so you have 5 more episodes to go.
Okay, yeah. 5 more episodes. Okay.
Yeah. So I watched that. Mm-hmm. What else have I watched? Well, this is a new segue for our next episode. We watched Captain America: New World Order.
Got a lot to say about that.
Well,
I
do. I don't.
Yeah. He was there in a sense, I guess.
In a sense.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that. Behind closed doors conversation.
I've been watching Elementary.
I was No, I haven't seen it. No,
Sherlock Holmes, modern day.
I know that. Is that with Lucy Liu?
Oh man, love Lucy Liu.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm watching that.
I've seen a few episodes of that. I did not watch the show when it was on the air.
Yeah, I never watched it when it was on the air.
Yeah.
I saw how many seasons it got. I hope it don't get stupid. I'm in like season 4 right now.
I couldn't tell you. What else did I watch the other day? I mean, I could go on my Netflix
watch
history.
list. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, I finished that On Call show on Amazon. Our friend Adele's in it.
Okay, I got to still watch that.
It was pretty good. I liked it. Where is my Netflix history? Where is my Netflix? Okay, so continue watching. Home Improvement's on Netflix. I'm so happy.
Really? I never really got into that. And I'm sure nowadays, since I've got time to watch it, I'm sure I'd probably love it. Because I do like Tim Allen. But never got into it when I was a kid.
I've been rewatching a lot of, I don't have HBO Max on my phone anymore. I've been rewatching a lot of the DC movies on there.
Okay.
I restarted, sorry for the sound effect. That's what I just started, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's called The Pit.
Okay.
So it's basically if you took ER and 24 and they had a baby.
Okay.
It's an hour-long show. It's about a ER in Pittsburgh, and it stars Nora Wiley, who was on ER for the longest time. And it's in real time. So every episode is 1 hour on a shift and working in the ER department.
Oh, wow.
And it's amazing.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I put it on for one episode just as sort of background noise, and then all of a sudden I just got hooked.
Yeah. I've done that. Yeah. And I'll try to, if I'm going to do that, I'll try to pick out something I don't give a shit about. And it's when you watch it, you're like, oh man, I'm kind of hooked now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm watching right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got to watch Dune 2, the second part.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet? It's so good.
I've heard.
Yeah, he's almost done writing Dune. Excuse me, Dune Messiah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's going to be
cool.
interesting.
What's interesting is, you know how he writes? He writes with an old MS DOS.
What?
I looked this up. The writer, he only wants to have so much where the memory would run out in like old MS DOS, like a 95 or something.
Okay.
So, and I have to fact check this, but
Brandon, fact check this.
The writer wanted to make sure that he hit a certain number where it would be, okay, there's no more memory in your cache system.
Yeah.
So he wrote it on an old style MS-DOS.
Okay. Cool,
and I think it paid homage to the original writer that wrote it in MS-DOS. So you can only get so many pages, so you have to put a lot of information into the pages that way.
Well, I thought the original writer wrote it on a typewriter in the 70s. Because
computers didn't come out till the 80s.
Dune came out before Star Wars came out.
Yeah, Dune. Hold on. Dune.
Hey, Brandon, how are we looking at time?
We're good.
1 hour, 20 minutes. All right.
Yep, real quick. Eric Roth banged out the script using MS-DOS program Movie Master. And I'll look into this more, but it is an old MS-DOS version of the software.
Okay.
And I believe it was, I have to look it up, but I think it was to play off that you only could write so much, so it challenged him as a writer to do it that way.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's get to our final segment.
Uh-oh.
What?
I was saying, our final
segment of the episode.
Countdown.
Which is what will we be discussing next?
Yeah. Well, we went to go see Captain America.
New World Order.
I'm glad you said it because I didn't know what it was called.
You're welcome.
And what are we going to be watching in the future? Let's come up with some ideas real quick.
What else could we do besides? We could do Prey. Prey's a very good.
I haven't seen it yet. And I've been wanting to see it. Yeah, the Predator series. Yeah,
you would love it. Okay, so we'll do Prey. Done.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Yeah. That was quick.
Yeah. Probably one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite like horror series in general. Predator and Aliens. Man, love that stuff. All right, guys, it's sad, but we're coming to the end, and we are